10 footballers whose careers are affected by romantic relationships. It's quite difficult to see some of your favorite players as having any other life beyond the pitch. You just imagine them as having the game as their only life. Outside of not being in shape, there are some other factors that influence the performance of these players on the pitch. This time, we're here to show you some of the instances where the romantic relationships of some players have dealt a huge blow to their careers. Let's start with something that's still pretty recent. You most likely still remember Neymar's struggle with the sexual assault suit, which almost destroyed the player. But thanks to a videotape and the WhatsApp conversation between the player and the accuser, Neymar was eventually vindicated. This was, however, not before the player lost his endorsement from Nike and hasn't got that back ever since. One Brazilian model had accused the player of assault, and in responding, Neymar had maintained whatever happened was consensual. The player was lucky enough to have been proactive by capturing the moment on camera. This was the only saving grace that saved his career at the time. It became obvious that the accuser was just after what she could get from the player. Others must have learned that you can never be too careful, and we hope not to see something like this repeat anytime soon. Josip Ilicic has also been badly influenced by the happenings in his romantic relationship, to the point that it rendered him unable to make any appearances and almost cost the man his career. Playing for Atlanta earlier in 2020, the player made some pretty good marks in the game. But things took a turn for the worse in 21 when the player stopped appearing in any match, following a rumor of his wife cheating on him with another man. The player cited mental health concerns as the reason for his break. Later on, Ilicic admitted that he was battling depression, though he didn't explicitly state the reason. The truth is that whatever it is really impacted his career. Luckily enough, the player was able to make a comeback in 22, now playing for Maribor. Andriy Shevchenko was another good example of romantic relationships taking the best from a footballer, though you might not compare his experience to that of some we've mentioned in this video. Before moving to Chelsea, the player was on fire, winning several titles that saw him placed as one of the best players at the time. But you know how moving to new clubs can affect players sometimes. It was said that his wife wanted their family to live in an English-speaking country at the time for the sake of their kids. So when it was time to sign with Chelsea, the player took the opportunity and turned out to be one of the worst decisions ever. The player lost his form and wasn't really able to get back on his feet. In another case, in what can be seen as a rather unique turn of events, Melissa Sata, Kevin Prince Boateng's then girlfriend, made an interesting revelation in 2012. Kevin Prince was having a difficult time around that time, especially as he often sustained injuries during matches, which was in fact affecting his performance. In that regard, Melissa Sata made a widely publicized statement about the reason behind his frequent injuries. She went ahead to attribute it to their active sex life, stating that they engaged in sexual intercourse 7 to 10 times a week. Of course, this was never confirmed to be true by medics, as injuries are bound to occur for a variety of reasons. Other reasons like style of play and stress could have been at the forefront, but the revelation from Melissa did make some waves for obvious reasons. There are also some heart-wrenching stories that you will find, like the one between Emmanuel Eboue and his wife. According to the revelation made by the player, he basically lost almost everything he had and was homeless at some point. The Ivorian had a good run and later got married to his wife Aliri. The story here isn't even as it pertains to the footballer's career, as he was already retired when he came out to say that he had gotten divorced and his wife had everything he had. Not sure how this happened, but the story was that he had made some investments with his ex-wife, which she also made away with. So basically, she hung him out to dry. The former footballer revealed at the time that he was so depressed that he had to seek solace in drugs. What a devastating tale. What about Alexander Kate? This footballer got caught in what seemed to be the sins of his wife back in 2020. It was during the peak of the protest against police brutality in the United States that his wife took up to her social media handles and mocked the movement and even went to the point of asking the police to shoot the protesters. As you would expect, these comments sparked public outrage, and despite the player coming to apologize for what his wife said, the damage had already been done. the player was let go by LA Galaxy only months after they had signed him. And that was how Kate's career took a hit. Moving on, Wayne Bridge and John Terry got caught in a drama that almost cost Terry his career and didn't really present a good image of him to the public. In 2010, it was made public that Terry was involved in an affair with Bridge's now ex-girlfriend, which led to the English media roasting Terry within that period. The fact that Terry was the captain of the team made matters even worse, as it appeared he hurt one of those he should be looking out for. This singular act got Terry removed as the captain of the national team, but looking at his later performances both with the England national team and Chelsea, Terry seemed to have gotten back up. Though not every player was lucky enough to have a comeback from situations caused by their romantic relationships, and this brings us to Mauro Icardi. Icardi lost the chance of advancing his career to the Argentina national team. What could have gone wrong? Well, he had an affair with the wife of his former teammate, Maxi Lopez, who he is now married to, and despite his skills, Icardi wasn't taken into the national team, and many attribute it to the incident. The drama between the two wasn't hidden from the public, as in the 2014 match between Sampdoria and Inter Milan, which was Icardi's new club. Maxi refused to shake Icardi's hand before the match, which led to a media uproar. The game was later dubbed the Wanda Derby, named after the woman in the middle of the whole thing, Wanda Nara. Well, the cases we have aren't always about infidelity. It turns out that what your partner says could also have an impact on your career. Let's look at what might have happened between Pep Guardiola and Alexander Zinchenko. If you all can remember, Ole's wife did give a piece of her mind to Guardiola regarding the tactics he adopted in the game against Lyon in 2020 during the Champions League. Well, though not confirmed, this might have affected her husband's future with Man City. Ole got transferred to Arsenal back in 2022, and many suspect that incident might have contributed to that move. Marcus Rashford is another player whose romantic relationship has taken a toll on his professional career. The footballer has been in a really long-term relationship with Lucia Loy ever since his teenage years. So far, it's safe to say that they have navigated his rise to stardom together, which means that they play a crucial role in the life of each other, especially with emotional support. Now, the story of these lovebirds has been on and off, and whenever they're off, something seems to go wrong with Rashford's performance on the pitch. The footballer's career seemed to be a lot more stable with more than 30 goal contributions between the 2019 to 2020 and 2020 to 21 seasons. Keep in mind that he was still on good terms with Lloyd during this period. The downward spiral came in 21 when the footballer had a faulty relationship with Lloyd and the two were separated. There was a remarkable drop in those numbers, with only 7 goal contributions in the 2021 to 22 season. The player seemed to get his charm back in 22, when, interestingly, he got back with Lloyd. We saw the player making an amazing 39 goal contribution that season, helping United win a trophy and also having an award for himself. To further drive this point, the player seemed to have a repetition of this pattern when they split up again in 23. He had a tough time scoring, but the story is likely to take a turn for the better as the couple just got back together. Rashford's performance in the match against Everton seems to be a testament to this. This goes a long way to show that different factors could hinder the performance of players on the pitch, but most importantly, be double sure of who all you call your partner. Now, what are some other outside factors that you think might be influencing different players? Do put that in the comment, and this is where we call it a wrap for this video.